So let's talk about something really interesting. What if an entire economy wasn't built on money, but on your participation? That's the huge idea behind DreamPlay. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it all works.
Just think about it for a second. In all the online communities you're in, what if the most valuable person wasn't the richest one, but the one who actually shows up? The person who contributes, who engages, who helps build the whole thing from the ground up. It's a complete flip of the script, right? And that's exactly what we're digging into.
Okay, so there's actually a name for this concept. It's called a participation economy, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a world where your actions, what you do, what you contribute, are literally the currency. We're talking about a fundamental shift, away from who pays the most to who participates the most.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on this whole participation economy idea. Then, we'll look at the actual blueprint for the system. We're going to check out the raw materials, see how the community's built with them, and then, this is the really cool part, we'll uncover the self-sustaining engine that keeps it all growing. Let's jump in.
You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around all this isn't to think about code or tech. It's to imagine we're building a digital city, and we're all the builders. Every single thing you do is like laying another brick. Every interaction you have helps design the neighborhoods. It's a really powerful way to look at it.
And look, a city like this, it doesn't just happen by accident. Just like a real city, it starts with a plan, a blueprint, a single master plan that lays out where everything goes and how every single piece is supposed to fit together.
And here it is. This is the master plan. The source material calls it the super ecosystem diagram, which sounds intense. And yet, at first glance, it might look like a lot. But don't worry, we're going to go through it piece by piece. Think of this as the architectural drawing for our entire digital city.
So, this whole blueprint is built on 4 main layers. It's pretty logical when you see it. It all starts with identity. Basically, who are you here? Then there's participation. Okay, now what can you do? After that, you've got community. Where do you fit in? And finally, there's growth, which is all about how this whole place gets bigger and better.
Okay, now this is where it all starts to click. This is the decoder ring for everything. We can take all those techie terms and just translate them using our city metaphor. A map pass? That's not just a password, it's your citizenship. The DPLIQ token? That's not some abstract crypto thing, it's the building material, the bricks and mortar. Miners become the brick factories. Utilities are the local businesses. And the DreamPlay arena? That's the main construction site. See? Suddenly it all makes a lot more sense.
All right, so let's stick with that logic. What's the very first thing you need to build a city? You need stuff to build with. You need a supply chain. So let's zoom in and figure out where the building blocks for this whole digital city actually come from.
Okay, everything boils down to 2 key things. First, there's your map pass. This is basically your digital passport. It's your proof of citizenship in this city. And second, there are the DPLI tokens. These are the literal bricks and steel. These are the building materials you're going to use to create everything.
So where do these materials come from? It's actually a really simple 2-step process. First step, you've got the miners. Remember them? There are brick factories, just churning out a steady supply of new DPLIQ tokens. Then you've got something called the OTC network. Think of these as the material markets, the places where all those freshly made bricks get handed out to the citizens who are ready to build. Okay, great. So we've got citizens and they've got building materials. But a pile of bricks isn't a city, right? It's just a pile of bricks. The magic happens when people start using them. So let's look at how these materials actually get put to work to build the community, the real, living, breathing parts of our city. So this construction process really happens in 3 stages. First, you have the businesses, the utilities, and they're the ones who create a reason to use the tokens in the first place. They create demand. Then, all that action happens on the main construction site, the DreamPlay arena. This is where everyone can see what's being built. And what happens when people build together? They form communities. So finally, all this activity naturally organizes people into different districts, all based on what they're interested in or working on. Now here's a really cool detail about how those districts get formed. It's through something called identity tokens. Now think of it this way. If DPIQ tokens are the standard red bricks everyone uses to build, identity tokens are like the unique signs for each neighborhood. They're what give each community its own flavor. So a creator or a specific project, they can have their very own identity token, carving out their own unique space inside the bigger city.
All right, now we get to what I think is the most exciting part of this whole blueprint. We've seen all the individual pieces, but what makes the whole city grow? And not just grow, but grow on its own. That's the job of this incredible concept,
the self-reinforcing flywheel. This is the economic engine that just keeps on going, powering the city's expansion all by itself.
So let's just follow the energy through this thing, step by step. You ready? Okay, it starts with the miners creating tokens, step 1. Those tokens get distributed to all the participants, step 2. Then, what do people do? They use them. They engage with the businesses. They build in the arena. That's step 3. All that activity makes the community stronger and more vibrant. Step 4. And hey, what do vibrant communities do? They attract new people. Step 5. More people means more demand for building materials, which means, you guessed it, a need for more miners. Step 6. And boom, the whole loop starts over, only now it's bigger and stronger than before.
And that right there is the key takeaway. The source material nails it with this quote. This creates a self-reinforcing ecosystem where activity drives growth. It's so important. Growth doesn't come from some big investor from the outside. The growth comes from the inside. The very act of participating is the fuel for the engine.
Okay, so if you had to explain this whole thing in like 10 seconds, how would you do it? Simple. Miners make the stuff. Networks move the stuff. Businesses give you a reason to use the stuff. Communities form around the stuff. And the arena shows off all the cool things being built with the stuff. That's it. That's the whole thing in a nutshell.
But what if we had to get it down to just its absolute core? It would be this. DreamPlay creates the currency, your map pass lets you use it, and the arena proves it's being used. That's the entire system in 3 simple parts.
So you see, at the end of the day, this is so much more than just a technical diagram. It's a social one. It's a blueprint for a world where what you do has direct value. And that really leaves us with one final massive question to think about. If our participation really is the new currency, what are we going to choose to build?